can you tell me a little bit about like the beginnings of NSIG, how that got started? Who had the idea? And then originally it was just a clan, right? It wasn't actually kind of like what it became today. So kind of walk me through like what was the origin? What's kind of like the timeline for what it ended up becoming?
Okay, this might be kind of a long answer.
Kind of a lot, bro. I'm
Okay,
happy I'm outside.
but yeah, no, this is definitely a long answer. It was my idea, but
Okay.
the way it started back then, when we first started playing Brawl in late 2015, it was me and Sandwick and a bunch of our IRL friends, and we were playing it every day, like hours on end during winter break. And then when summer break rolled around, every day, hours on end, Brawlhalla, Brawlhalla, Brawlhalla. We would watch all the dev streams together, all that. But then I want to say probably like a year and a half later, by the time 2017 came around, most of them had stopped playing. It was pretty much just me and Sandwick, and Sandwick was not good. I'm sorry, Sandwick, but you were not good at the game. He was,
Yeah, that's how it
he
be.
was like he was like maybe 16 or 1700 at the time, and I was like 21 or 2200. So I was going out. I was trying to get good at the game because BCX 2016 was my introduction to Brawlhalla esports, and I loved it like a lot. So I started watching every tournament. I started going on Discord. I joined Brawl League because they said they mentored people. So I wanted to get good. I joined the Forge. I joined
No.
I joined a bunch of Discord servers. I joined Clan Holla at the time. I wanted to join a clan, see if I could find other people around my skill level to get better with because I've always been a pretty competitive person. But I just feel like a lot of the clans there didn't really align with what I wanted, or they weren't just like active enough. And I was bored, so I told Sandwick and my friends at the time who were like the first members of NSIG. It was me, Sandwick, and then it was Right Side Up Panda, One Oz, and someone else. I don't think I can say his name on here, but we'll just call him Chris. A
Oh,
lot of you guys,
bro,
uh,
I was like, is he gonna say it? I'm like, oh,
no,
yeah.
yeah. If you guys have been around the Brawler community for a while, you would probably know him as a
I mean,
Luxor
you could
Face-Off.
say the name he was assigned at CEO.
Okay, Spigums,
Oh,
or
oh,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah, the Azoff player. Um, I got all of them to start a clan with me, and I didn't know what to call it. And I was a Cassidy player at the time. Hammer Ensig was always so broken. I loved the move. It was my favorite move. Back then, I used to hit grounded too. Believe it or not, it was horrible.
Bro, I think like every hammer Einstein at the time was just so cursed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I was a Cassidy Ensig spammer. I didn't know what to call the clan at the time, so I was like, whatever. I'm gonna just be funny. I'm gonna call it Ensig. I'll probably change the name eventually. I never changed the name,
Nah.
but
It stuck. It
yeah, it's
definitely
like
stuck.
that's how
Um,
the clans.
and then at this point, you guys have transitioned into like organizing and running tournaments and different types of events and things like that for the Brawlhalla community. Like, how did that get started?
So I want to say we started like at 2020. I think.
2020.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2020. We did our first tournament. It was like Shadows and Silhouettes. We did it, I think, for a $600 prize pool. Granted, there was no BCTI back then. There was no like the only tournaments that ever really got sponsored back then were just like Brawl League and maybe Estashao. I don't know if
And
Estashao's events got sponsored back during 2020, but it was like,
esports for me.
oh yeah, and what's he? Oh yeah, esports for you too. But a lot of our beginning events weren't sponsored by like Brawlhalla at all, and we were going into it thinking like, okay, how do we make these tournaments like not only do we make them as close to like the officials level in terms of like how the stream looks, but also just like more fun for people in general. Because you even look at like our tournaments today, we are not professional. Well, we are professional, but like very lax in terms of like how we deliver that stuff with
Sure.
like what the casters do, like the overall tone, etc. Right? But that's what we established back in like 2020 with Shadows and Silhouettes. That was our first tournament. We got like I think 300 or 400 concurrent viewers for that stream, and
Wow.
we were just like, how? Like this is our first event. We had like all these top players competing. We had like a funny little like trailer for it. I don't remember if it was for that tournament or that one after, but we were going into that thinking like, how do we put ourselves like separate from everybody else doing community events, to like get as close like as the officials would, because we thought there was like a lot of room for improvement.
Hmm.
But that's where we started with Shadows and Silhouettes. Then I think we did NSIG Ascended, right? It was either NSIG Ascended or Trials. It might have been Ascended. We did Ascended.
Ascended.
Just it was again us just like self-funding these tournaments for like $600 like dollars or whatever, right? So it was already above like the normal amount for like a community event. And then eventually, when we started getting sponsored by Brawlhalla for those events, that's when we did like NSIG Trials. And as we did like every single stream, every single like tournament, granted we weren't like where we are today, but a lot of the objective was like, how can we stand out to making like the coolest stuff ever, I guess, and that's what led up into now.